Hey guys, welcome back to Titanshield Gaming. It's been a while since I've done a build video, but there's a really cool update I want to show you guys. I've seen it on official, really impressive, and I think you guys would like it. Today we're going to be looking at the greenhouse. Now the greenhouse is going to allow you to grow crops. It's going to allow you to make kibble so that you can go out there, get some really good tames, and on top of that make some really cool recipes. So we're going to be looking at this. We're going to be doing a 4x4 foundation. I'm going to be making this as small as I possibly can so that you guys on official, no matter what the size, can possibly grind this out. So this is going to be a fun exploration of what we can and what we can't do, as well as what I think would be suitable for the average tribe out there. So once you've laid down the foundations, in this case a 4x4, which is 16, I'm going to be tossing up the resources required for this kind of build so that you guys can elaborate on it if you want to make it bigger. But I highly recommend you guys always do a 4x4 section. So if you're going to add a bigger part to it, put another 4x4 onto it. That's just going to allow the hatch frames on the top when you're finished to cover everything. You'll have everything protected and everything will be 300% greenhouse. Next, I'm going to be putting down the intersection pipes so that we can water our crops and reach every single part of this foundation room. It's a total of 9, and here are the resources. I prefer to set these things up beforehand so I don't have any problems afterwards. Make sure everything lines up nicely, everything reaches everywhere, and right now it looks really good. So now we're going to start stopping into the taps so that we can make sure everything is reached. We're going to be putting 10 taps down. These taps, from what I believe, reaches 2 foundations all around it, but I'm going to be making sure that nothing is missed. I'm going to be putting everything in the corner, and then I'm going to put 2 in the middle, just so that I know that nothing is going to be missed and there is plenty of coverage. Next, I can't give you any resources, unfortunately, because it highly depends on where you are and what water resources you have around you. Now, I piped from the top of Blue Orb all the way down to the ocean, so it is possible. Highly recommend you guys find a source near you and use pipelines. Pipelines are the best, most reliable source on here. Unfortunately, they are very easy to destroy and people will grief you, so I highly recommend you have a few water reservoirs hooked up just in case that does happen. The next step I want to do is large crop plots. We're going to be laying down a few of these because I know a lot of people don't have a lot of space, but we do have a lot of crops that are required. So we're going to be looking at exactly where we're going to be placing these. I'm going to be trying to line them up so I can get the most amount of space coverage between medium crop plots and large. So make sure you keep them a little away from the edges of your foundations because you will be needing to snap in walls, and we're going to be double walling. So I've laid down the large crop plots. I believe this is enough. The rest I want to make medium because the thing is you need a lot of crops in order to make your recipes, as well as getting kibble and all that good stuff. So I would highly recommend you put a few large ones in for the important things and put a lot of medium ones in for a large variety of things. So it's going to be nice. Hopefully we'll be able to fit everything in with this. I won't be showing you how many resources this is because it all depends on what you need to grow in your situation. So I think we've managed to get quite a lot of space and a lot of crop plots in that space, so it looks nice, looks clean, all the water's reaching everything. I think we can get a lot of crops out of this, and it's relatively a small structure. So next what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving on to getting those walls up. Now, in order to get 2 walls to sit next to each other, you can either put fence foundations on the inner part, which is more resources. I'm just going to go and put thatched ceilings all along the outside so that we can get a snap on the outside as well as in the inside. It's just an easier, simpler way of doing things. The total amount of walls that you're going to need for this structure is 31 greenhouse walls and 31 metal walls. This is going to be the total amount of resources that you're going to need. So when you're putting these walls in, I want you to really look at this because they now have 2 colors, which is a lot easier than before. Is you want to get the blue snap. There's the green what you initially placed, which will be right directly on the foundation. The blue will go over a smidgen more onto the thatch structure, but it will still remain connected to the foundations. So the whole purpose of this is that you want to go too high, and then you want to have two high greenhouse structures on the inside. That's going to keep your greenhouse effect, but it also protects the glass from being broken from the outside with trolls and people in general hitting it with whatever. The only thing I would recommend here is to be very, very careful. Take your time. You don't want to waste unnecessary resources. Everything is looking great. Everything's lined up. Everything's watered. It's just a really nice setup. I would highly recommend you start putting in the doors now. You want to go door frame metal first. Make sure it's on the outer snap point. Be very careful with this. It's finicky. And then get your ceiling in as well. And then you want to follow up with the glass door frame and then the glass wall. Now once this is all done, you're going to have to go and put the doors in. So the trick to this is to snap the greenhouse door on the inner part, and then you want to snap the metal door on the outer part. Make sure you open the doors as you place them so that you don't have any problems with it. Now you can go around, destroy all this useless thatch structures. You've already got your double walls up. You don't need this any longer. Well, now everything on the inside part of the room is pretty much done. You want to start focusing on the ceilings. This is going to be greenhouse ceilings. You're going to have a total of 16, and you want to make sure you line this up properly because these are extremely finicky. I'd highly recommend you start at one corner and then go back along a row, and then make sure when you get to the end that you go back on the row but facing the other way so that you get a nice clean framed ceiling. Because trust me, I tried this a few times and I kept getting little tiny gaps in between. When you're done with it, everything should look like this. I added a wooden ramp. I'm not going to include this into it because the terrain here was a little low. So if you have a low terrain, you can put it in. If not, don't worry about it. You should be able to just simply run into the door frame. So it looks pretty good. Got my piping all the way to the ocean. Everything's set up here. So now we're going to move on to getting the top part dealt with. So now we're going to be putting the protection on top of the greenhouse. This is 4 giant metal hatch frames as well as 4 giant metal trapdoors. I would highly recommend you take the time, you be patient, and you place these properly next to each other. You want to get them snug right up against each other. You don't want them overlapping. You want to make sure the corners are clean, and basically you don't want to mess up because these are expensive. After spending a good couple of minutes of trying to get this last piece in, I managed to get it in and everything fell into place. Everything looked perfect. So as you can see right here in the middle of the hatch frames, you got a nice lined up center. You got all the corners covered. Now everything is peachy. We're going to go ahead and snap in the trapdoors. Since I took the time and the patience to get everything working properly, I'm going to go ahead, pen code these first, and then I'm going to open these up for you guys so that you can see they all line up nicely and it looks even. There we go. Everything looks nice. Everything's lined up nicely. The sun will get in. Everything will be protected if someone's trying to grief me. Now if I get into the room, we have everything you can see up into the air. You have 300% right here on the greenhouse effect. You have everything watered. Now I'm going to go ahead, put some seeds in this, get some fertilizer in, and then fast forward, let the plants grow, and we'll get a nice look what it's going to look like inside when it's done. Well guys, that's about it. Once you put your fertilizer in, get your seeds in, and it starts growing, that's it. I'm not going to be putting resources of that on there because it's all up to what you want. But overall, it looks really nice. It's a clean, simple, small, protected greenhouse. Now, there's quite a lot of resources that are required, so I hope you guys are willing to grind those out. I'm going to provide you with the total amount right now, right here. Well, I hope you guys like this. It's a small, simple, clean, effective build for official ARK. I took in mind the amount of resources that are required, but I also want you guys to know you can add on to this. I'm not going to include the resources for this. This is just an example of what you can do. You can have a generator, you can have a keypad to open and close that, you can have all kinds of different things. So I highly recommend you take this idea, incorporate it, expand it, make it your own. Because you don't need to take an exact copy of what I do on here, you just need to take the knowledge and pass it on. So it's a really nice looking addition. I'm going to give you a nice beautiful scenic shot of it, and hopefully you guys will go ahead and elaborate and make even better builds on it. So, as always guys, I want to thank you for coming back to Titanshield Gaming. I want to thank you guys for hitting that like button, sharing this around with your friends, and overall being awesome. So I'm going to bring you more official ARK PvP builds, and hopefully that in itself will be really fun for a lot of you to check out and incorporate into your own builds. Well, if you guys have made it this far, I want to give you guys my merchandise channel. It's for the few dedicated Titanshield fans out there that want to wear these things, they want to look good, and on top of that, they want to represent Titanshield. So I want to thank you guys for coming over here, checking out that store on Teespring. If you guys want to know where the link is on the website, you can check it up in the top right corner. It's the red icon. And on a mobile, you can go to the About tab on your screen, and you can go down to the bottom and hit that. Helps me out immensely, helps me out with hardware, software, making videos crystal clear for you guys, as well as audio crystal clear. So I want to thank you guys for checking it out, and I'll see you next time. Fight me, man! Fight me! Oh shit, Cosby! They didn't weigh you down! Let me go! Come up to me! Come up to me! Go! 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 Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him! Move! Go! You fucking scrubs! The weapon's in there.
Hold on, look at this. Right here.
Let him go. He just logged on. Yes!